Hello, Freedom Nation. It's Jeff here once again. And on today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about one more of the books on my list of the best books that have helped me to get to my Freedom Day. And I hope these are books that are going to be helpful to you as well. They're books I've read many times. Today's book is Think and Grow Rich, which was written by Napoleon Hill in the early 1900s. Napoleon Hill spent time with Andrew Carnegie and several other just really successful men and interviewed them and got to know them and learned about what it took to be successful. And he then took that information and broke it down into the basics of what it takes to be successful, what it takes to be rich, really around the philosophies of the psychological power of thought. And so this is the book for me that helps me to develop the psychology around focusing on building wealth over time. It has multiple concepts. There's basically 14 concepts in the book, key concepts in the book. So I'm going to just quickly go through those. You should read it, but here's the key concepts that Hill felt were the things that made people successful. The first of which is desire. Every single one of the people that he interviewed, the successful people that he interviewed had a burning desire to achieve what they wanted. Rarely was it that they wanted to make massive amounts of wealth. They wanted to achieve other things. They wanted to be successful. They wanted to build successful companies, and then the money came with it. So you've got to have that burning desire. Otherwise, it's just a job and you'll hate it. Second is faith in attaining that desire, that you have to have faith that you can do it, that you can achieve it, and you've got to focus on that. The next is autosuggestion, and this is an interesting one because at the time it was called autosuggestion. Now it's multiple different things over the years, but it's really having affirmations influencing your subconscious mind, trying to make sure that you're programming your mind to always think successfully. Another thing that Hill focused on was specialized knowledge. What he saw was that there were very few people that were rich or wealthy who had just generalized knowledge. They had specialized knowledge in a couple of areas and they were compensated accordingly. And that's what it took. Imagination is another key thing. And I know this is, for me, this is one of the key things that I took out of the book. And being that visionary, when you are a successful entrepreneur or you're trying to grow a business, you've got to be a visionary. You've got to have that imagination to take something that doesn't exist and turn it into something that exists that eventually will make you money. Organized planning, making sure that you have a definitive plan and an operational plan to achieving what you want. So often it is writing that down, starting with writing down your desires and goals, and then working along that way. One of the key things I use is a concept called objectives and key results. It came out of Google and Intel. And it really is, what is my objective? What am I trying to accomplish? What are the key results that I have to do to get to that point? Persistence is another key. You're never going to be successful if you're not persistent in what you do. You've got to make sure that you're pushing towards that. Using that organized planning, like the OKRs that I use, helps me to stay on track that way. Decision is another concept here. Procrastination, you're just never going to get there. And people that have to overthink everything are never going to be successful as an entrepreneur. You have to make decisions. You have to make them quickly and with enough thought. You don't want to go off and make a rash decision, but you want to be able to quickly think through all the potential issues that could happen, all the potential results, and then make the decision. The best concept, or the concept that I took out of this more than anything, the concept that's really affected the world after Hill wrote this book, is the power of a mastermind. And the idea behind this is a group of people, could be two or more, working towards a common goal. Each individual is going to contribute to the group, and those minds, bringing all those minds together, creates what Hill calls the third mind or the mastermind. That all of a sudden, all these different people, like I said, it could be just simply two people that are doing a mastermind, but they're using their minds to create that third mind to solve problems, to move themselves forward. This is a concept that I have used time and time again. And it's the concept that I used to be successful by finding other people that either were on my level or that could be mentors that I could potentially help them, but also they are certainly helping me. The mystery of sex transmutation. This one's the weirdest one in the whole group or the whole book. It really Hill talks about channeling sexual energy into achieving wealth. I don't know about that. I'd rather channel sexual energy into sexual energy instead of worrying about it in wealth, but whatever. He wrote the book and we're going to go with it. The next concept is the subconscious mind. And that is what's behind the scenes here. What's rolling in behind your head? What's behind the curtain? If you think of the old movie, oh God. Stop. Subconscious mind. What's going on behind the scenes? What's going on behind the curtain? Just like the Wizard of Oz, what's going on behind the curtain? Don't look at the man behind the curtain. You have to focus on your subconscious mind and helping yourself reach a point where you're going to be successful and your mind is not fighting against you. The brain. Hill talks about the brain being a broadcasting and receiving station for your thoughts. Thinking of it almost like a radio station. It's receiving and it's sending out. And if at all possible, you want it to almost be a universal mind. You're plugging into all the other people around you. The 13th concept that he talks about is the sixth sense, and that is intuition. We also call it gut feeling. It's that gut feeling that, okay, this is right or it's not right. And a lot of times you have to follow that intuition. If it doesn't feel right, you just don't do it. And the last concept that Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, I think is probably the key one out of everything that's in here, the one that stops people from being successful, and that is fear. And he really talks about 6 fears: fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, or death. Those all, you have to conquer those fears to be able to be successful. So I will tell you, this is a book that I've not read often, but I've read parts of. I typically will pick a piece of this and focus on it for a month. You can just about get through all of this in a year. So you could focus on one of these concepts each month. But it is a book that once again, it was written over 100 years ago. And I think personally that it is one of those books that is just always going to be treasured by a lot of people. And I would encourage you to read the book. It doesn't take long, and you can go back and read bits and pieces later on. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you joining up on here and listening. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, and also make sure that you hit the notification button. These book concepts and these book reviews are going to be dropped over the next several weeks. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any. Thanks a lot. We'll see you back here the very next time.